guys, my name is Michael and welcome to a new GTK tutorial. Today we are going to move on with our GMenu, and today we are going to learn new functions and see how and where we can apply them. Anyway, until now, as you know, we will learn a lot of functions: GMenu new, item new, insert item, append item, prepend item, set attribute, insert submenu, append submenu, and so on. GMenu insert, prepend, and append. Today we are going to concentrate us on these three functions. Why I'm introduce you special these two right now and not earlier was because I wanted to be sure that you understand where exactly label and detail actions takes place. In this case, let me go a little bit to our application. Every time when you create an item like we did here, we had to give a name and we have to give an action. Basically, the name, it is the name which you set for your item, like in this case copy, cut, paste, and the action, it is the copy, cut, paste as well, which we create them basically right here by filling this structure, and then with the help of GAction map and action entries we add those actions. Basically, again, I say if, for example, you don't create the copy which applies here, then you have an item inside your menu which is not activated, which means it is not working, you see. So to make it work, you had to activate it. Okay, that being said, let us check the first function, GMenu item set label. Let me see, where is it? Right here. It says sets or unsets the label attribute of menu item. So if label is not null, it is used as the label for the menu item. If it's null, then the label attribute is unset. So in other words, that being said, let me check. I'm going to call this function, but to be more sure that you 100% understand what exactly happens here, you remember when we create the GMenu item new right here, we set its label and detail action. So basically when we call this function, we were setting those things. Now I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to say null here, and when I compile it and run it right now, of course the label it is not there anymore. So let me comment it for a second. Then yes, we have too many. Let me mark it as unused for a second. And now our items which we are creating now, you see, we get some failure because we have no names here, you see. Okay, now basically this is what this function does. It sets the label name. So I'm going to call it right after we created the item right here, you see. And now the first parameter argument, it is the item, and the second one is the label. Okay, so item and now label. Of course, if you put another name, like for example whatever, hello, now when I'm going to compile it and run it, you will see that all items has the name hello, you see. But of course you will not doing something like that. Instead, I'm going to pass the label right here, and let me unmark this one, and now I'm going to compile it and run it again, and you will see that everything works fine. See, copy, cut, and paste. So this is what this function does. Now the next function which I want to introduce you, it is called detailed action, and the function, it is right here. It says sets the action and possibly the target attribute for the menu item. So the format of the action is the same format passed by GAction pass. This is this thing we're going to talk later. Anyway, what do we need? We need a menu item and a detailed action. Now we know that the detailed action basically means this part right here, where you write app dot in the front and then the action name. So this is the same thing which we need to do. So the first thing first, I'm going to mark the detailed action as unused, GNUC unused for a second, which means it is not going to be used, and here I'm going to set it to null. At this point we are creating a new item with no label and no action. Later we are setting the label but not the action. As you can see, now we have, it is not working. For this to make it work, you need to set it right here when you create a item with a GMenu item new, or you call this function after later when you decide. I'm going to call it right here. The first one is the item, and the second it is the detail action. I'm going to pass a string right now. Let me compile it and run it. If you see it is not working, nothing is working anymore, because we basically override the old actions. So that means at this point all items should have this action, but this action doesn't exist here, isn't it? So it is not working. Now of course, to make it work, you need to set a detail action, which means I can drop this unused, and now when I'm going to compile it and run it, it should work fine. Copy, cut, paste, and so on. You see, everything works fine. So basically this is what these two functions does. I hope you understand them. Okay, now let us move on to the last function, GMenu set item, GMenu item set icon. Sorry, this function, let me see, where is it? Right here. Sets or unsets the icon on menu item. So this call is the same as calling the G icon serialize. This is another story, and using the result as the value to GMenu item set attribute value. Okay, so this API is only intended for use with known menu items, things like bookmarks or application in an open with menu. Don't use it on menu items corresponding to web stock icons or save or quit. If icon is null, then the icon is unset. Okay, so we have two parameters. The first is the item and the second is the G icon. So how it is working, let's see. I'm going to copy this call, and I'm going to comment this part right here where we are setting the icon before, and now basically if I'm compiling and run it, because we are checking the icon but we are not setting it, now as you can see all icons are dead, they are not there anymore. So to make it work, you have some options. The first option which I'm going to use, I'm going to create a G icon, and I'm going to do this because it says here we need a G icon. Okay, so the G icon, we already have one, so I'm going to say buffer icon. Now buffer icon, we are going to set it now to G termed, how was that icon new, should be, yeah, new. And now what do we need? We need an icon name, basically the name which we want to set. So in this case it will be our icon, isn't it? Yes. So basically we are passing here, it says it needs no, not there, sorry, the G theme icon new. Let me open another one. Nope, not there. back. Let me see if this function says gTemplate icon new. It names a char icon name. The icon name is a string containing the icon name. So basically it is the name which you pass it as a string. Okay, so because I'm right and I didn't made something wrong, now we have the buffer, and because we have the buffer we are safely now to call this function. So the first thing first is the item, and the next one it is the buffer icon, the newly buffer icon which is created. So what we did now, we basically declared a gIcon buffer icon pointer, and then we pointed this one to the gTemp icon new, and we create a new icon from icon names, which we pass them right here, these ones and so on, and then later we call the GMenu item set icon. On the item itself we put the buffer icon. Let's see. Yes, you see the icons are right here. The edit doesn't have icons because we didn't set, but we have the icons right here. Like I said, on the edit we passed null here. Okay, so basically this is what these three functions does. Let me drop this one right here. Now we saw how they are working, and the last thing which we need, let's see, we do have more functions which I didn't introduce you. Yes, we saw now only the submenu, of course. So the submenu item and so on we learned, but we need to learn about sections, and yes, we have some functions for next video. That being said, I'm going to stop now. Thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, share with your friends and neighbors, and until next time, see you guys.